everyone, I hope that you're doing great. Well, on today's video, we're going to focus on 5 common words in English. Very common words in English. Important and common words in English. These 5 words are also relatable to each other, which makes it much easier for you, the English learner, to remember them and to just have them in your mind whenever you want to use them, and make it easier for you to activate them in the real life, okay? Don't forget that consistency is the only thing that works in terms of learning a language. If you really want to be fluent in English or any other language, you need to know that it won't happen without consistency. Consistency is really important. It could be learning a lesson or being exposed to English like every day or once in a week, but it should be consistent to work. Consistency with, of course, paying attention to the lesson. So that's why on my channel, I've decided to focus on consistent lessons of vocabulary and grammar, which are the base of English, right? These are the most important thing that you need to learn, first of all. I'm going to teach you vocabulary with the best way that we can learn vocabulary, which is learning in context. Well, while you're learning in context, I'm sure that you know that this makes it much easier for you to activate the words, because you are learning the words in a lot of examples, in different examples, so you can see how it works, how it is used in different sentences. This is proven to be the best way to learn vocabulary in English or any other language. You need to learn them in context. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share consistent lessons of vocabulary with the right way, which is in the context, so that you can activate the words. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you don't miss the lessons that I make for you. So without further ado, let's get into our point, which is the 5 common words that we're going to focus on today. The first word is avoid. Avoid is a verb, is a very common verb. When we avoid doing something, we put ourselves in a situation where we don't have to do the thing. We try not to do it. We avoid doing it, like we choose not to do it. So that is avoiding. Avoid doing something. That means you choose not to do it and you put yourself in a situation where you don't have to do it. So if you avoid something unpleasant that might happen, you take action in order to prevent it from happening. You try to stop it with taking some actions. And if you're avoiding someone, that means that you're trying to stay away from them. Stay away from them. That means you're avoiding someone. So let's check the examples together so that you know how it is used in sentences. We usually avoid a problem that we try to stay away from it. We try to prevent it from happening. We try to stop it from happening and to take actions in order to stop it and in order to prevent it from happening. That means we avoid a problem, avoid an issue, avoid a problem, avoid a disaster, avoid a danger, avoid harm. These are really popular collocations with avoid. Collocations, as you know, that means the 2 words that are used together. So harm and problem and disaster, danger are usually coming with the word avoid. For example, if you say avoid, you would probably say avoid a problem, avoid a harm, avoid a danger, avoid a disaster. The next example, she's always avoiding the traffic. When you avoid the traffic, it means that you stay away from traffic. You choose not to be in a traffic situation. You choose not to be there. You choose not to do it. You choose not to stuck in traffic. That means that she is trying to stay away from traffic, trying to put herself in a situation where she doesn't have to go in the traffic, you know? She avoids it. She stays away from it. She prevents it somehow. Or avoid harm. The bad things that can happen, we should avoid them from happening. We should stop them from happening with taking some action so we could avoid harm. If you avoid someone, that means you're trying to stay away from them. That means you're avoiding them. So you could ask a question. For example, someone is avoiding you. That means they're trying to stay away from you and not to be in a situation where they have to see you or confront you talk to you, or just like they trying to avoid you. Okay, so we can ask a question. We could say, are you avoiding me? That means that, are you trying to stay away from me? Are you trying to run away from me? Are you trying to escape from me? Or these things. Most of the time, we avoid people because we think they're dangerous for us. So we try to stay away from them because we know that they could or they can hurt us. The second word and the noun of today is avoidance. Avoidance is the actions and the things we do to avoid someone. The act of avoiding someone is avoidance. Avoidance of someone or something is the act of avoiding them. So we have some really popular collocations with avoidance of something. For example, we have the avoidance of stress, the avoidance of harm, the avoidance of problems. For example, the avoidance of stress means that you're trying not to get stressed. You're trying to be relaxed and calm. So that is the avoidance of stress. The avoidance of stress is needed in here. That means that you shouldn't be stressed. You should be calm and relaxed. We have some popular collocations with avoidance. So like tax avoidance or duty avoidance. You know, tax is the money that you pay to the government for some charges, like it could be for the water or the electricity that you use. You pay taxes, okay? Someone refuse to pay tax. That means that they don't pay tax. That is tax avoidance. When you avoid to pay tax, that is tax avoidance. For example, tax avoidance is not acceptable. That means that it's not something that we can accept. It's not something good. It's something bad. That is tax avoidance, for example. We have duty avoidance. Duty avoidance, duty means job, your responsibility. The things that you need to do are your duties. So we have the famous collocation, duty avoidance. Duty avoidance is not going to happen in my company. The place that we work, for example, if I am the manager of the company and I am a strict person, you have to work all the time. So duty avoidance, which means the act of avoiding your job responsibilities and your duties, is forbidden. You shouldn't do it. You should not avoid your duties. You could say duty avoidance or avoidance of duty. It's gonna work both ways. The third word and the adjective of today is avoidable. Avoidable is a common word also. Something that is avoidable can be prevented from. Something that is avoidable can be stopped. Now let's read the examples so that you get the meaning better. The biggest reason for avoidable death remains smoking. Okay, I'm gonna explain this for you, don't worry. The avoidable death, what is that? Avoidable death, a death which you could stop it. But it did happen and now the person is dead, okay? But it was avoidable, it was stoppable. You could stop it, it was preventable, you could prevent it. But it happened, okay? That is avoidable death. Or sometimes we say avoidable death when it didn't happen. For example, this is an avoidable death. You can stop it. That means that you should go and take actions in order to stop the killing maybe or whatever. Tragedy was entirely avoidable. Well, tragedy is something sad and really bad. When something is terrible, when something is bad, when something is sad at the same time, we call that a tragedy. For example, someone's death can be a tragedy. The tragedy was entirely avoidable. Entirely means completely and absolutely. The tragedy was entirely avoidable. It means that the tragedy was in a way that you could stop it, in a way that you could prevent it. You could take actions in order to avoid it. Okay, so that was avoidable. Or you could say the dangers are avoidable. That means that you can stop the danger. You can prevent it. You can avoid it. You can take actions in order to stop it and prevent it. That means it is avoidable. Some popular synonyms for avoidable are preventable and stoppable. Well, preventable especially is a really common word, you better use it. And it is used the way I used avoidable. The synonym, kind of the synonym of avoid, the main word avoid, is escape. Escape is also a really common word. The famous meaning is to break free from somewhere, to run away from some place, okay? For example, he escaped the prison. That means he ran away from the prison, okay? But the meaning that we're going to focus on today is this: to avoid something bad happening to you. To avoid something means to escape something. That is another popular meaning of escape. We have some really common collocations with escape with this meaning. We have escape punishment, we have escape injury, we have escape problems or difficulties. That means you try to avoid them. Let's read the examples together. 2 prisoners have escaped. That means 2 prisoners ran away. He escaped from somewhere or someone. A lion has escaped from its cage. A lion has escaped from its cage. So we can also escape from somewhere or someone. For example, she escaped from her house. That means that she left her house. Could escape a problem, escape a difficulty, escape a situation, and all of that. Could escape a hard situation or a difficulty or some hardships of life. All of them means that we're avoiding that problem, those issues, or those harms. The last word is kind of the opposite form of avoid, which is confront. Confront is not the exact opposite of avoid, but it's a really common word and it is a really relatable word to avoid. So confront basically means to deal with something, to accept that something exists. It could be a problem or difficulty, to accept that it exists, to choose to accept that it exists, and to deal with it. We also confront someone, which means to be face to face with them, to see them and to be able to talk to them directly, to see them and communicate with them directly. That means to confront someone. So let's read the examples together. Here it says the candidates confronted each other. That means that they are talking to each other directly. They're seeing each other face to face. That means they are confronted with each other. As I said, we also confront a difficulty or a bad situation or danger, which means that we accept that it exists and we decide to deal with it and find solutions for it. We are learning how to confront problems. That means we're learning how to deal with our problems, how to find solutions for our problems. The next example, when I confronted him, he had to answer my question. When I was face to face, when I was talking to him directly, when he was standing right in front of me, so he had to answer my questions. He couldn't run away. He couldn't avoid me anymore. He had to answer my questions. It means that he had no choice but to talk to me because we were face to face and he had to answer my questions. Thank you so much. That's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell whenever that I share a new video and I make a new lesson. You'll notice that. It will be really helpful and beneficial for you to make one example with each word. This will help you a lot with activating the words. You could send them for me. You could comment them down below so that I can see and even check your mistakes and correct them. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe. Bye.